Do you communicate well? As an educator or anybody who deals with people, you have to communicate well. As an educator, a teacher, district leader, you probably feel I communicate pretty well because we deal with people every day. But do you really? Let's think about it. Today we're going to talk about the soft skill of communication. And I'm really big on communication, and I go into depth in my book, Tell Me Something Good, Soft Skills for Professionals. A not shameless plug, by the way. You need to go get it. Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Tell Me Something Good. You can't forget that name, can you? Communication. I am a big stickler about communication because I cannot stand ambiguity. I cannot. It drives me crazy. I like to know what I'm supposed to do. I like to know what you expect out of me so I can get the job done. So therefore, communication. This communication I'm going to talk about today is what I learned when I was getting my doctorate. Some people call it different things. My particular school, my particular program called it looping. And looping is when pretty much you're active listening. You repeat what the person is saying. As teachers, educators, district leaders, whatever, sometimes you deal in some very intense situations. Parents or district leaders coming down, critiquing, looking over your shoulder, judging. You really want to know exactly, what do you want from me? Am I doing this right? I hate it when someone tells me that's not what I meant, or you misunderstood me. And when I was younger, I would say to myself in my head, but I know words. I'm an English major. Nevertheless, sometimes you just they don't seem to get their point across to you. So to save time, looping. You ask me a question, I can repeat the question. Or also, looping is you relay their question back to them as you see it. You give it back to them as, is this what you mean? So you can loop by also saying, okay, this is what you're saying, repeat it, or you can rephrase it. Because what this does is it gives you time to not only allow them to think, but it gives you time to formulate an answer, because it gives you time to pause and actually, now tell me again, I want to really get this understanding. So there is no ambiguity, because the seed of ambiguity grows into the tree of discontent. I'm telling you, I don't mean to be too philosophical, but that can ruin a school. Non-communication, which grows into people who don't feel appreciated, people who feel frustrated. Another thing you might want to do, and when you're talking about looping, is when you relay the question back to them as you see it. For instance, principal, staff come to you and say, I have a migraine, my eyes are watering, the kids are just off the chain today, and something's got to give. You say to yourself, principal, soft skills. Now, are they just telling me how their day is going? Do they want me to help out in some way? I just would go out and just say, hey, what do you think it is? Relay it back to them. This is what you feel they mean. Are you trying to tell me you want to go home early? Are you trying to tell me you need to go home? Are you trying to say, I don't feel good, I need to go home? So that's another form of looping. Looping is the way to clarify what is being said, because as educators and professionals, we really need to work on communication, because non-communication is the seed which the ambiguity tree will grow in the middle of your school. You will have so much confusion. So it's important that communication is not just writing or talking, but it's also listening and conveying a meaning of what you want done. One more last thing. It just came to me. Just one more last thing. Another form of looping is if you're talking to your principal, colleagues, whatever, and a meeting, and they're going and you really don't quite get it, but you feel kind of intimidated. You don't want to say, well, could you repeat that? Or what did you mean by that? Or is this what you want, or whatever? Email. Email is a very non-judgmental safe place when you feel a little intimidated by people, or they're quick, or they're just busy and they told you something and you don't quite understand it, go back and just email them. Because when you email them back and say, I just want to make it clear, is this what you meant? Is this what you want? You know what? You don't see the eye rolls. You don't hear the, didn't I just tell her this? You don't see that, hear it. But you know what? You get your answers. So those are two forms of looping. Going back and repeating what they say, going back and giving your interpretation of what they say, and then also going back and just emailing them back and making sure, is this what you said? Is this what you want? And I promise you once again, your life will be much happier.